Good morning, friends. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Unfortunately, this morning you're going to have to contend with the sound of my washing machine because I forgot to do my washing yesterday. But we're going to paint this guy. The Hecaton. The Hecaton. Ooh, that's a good idea. Royal brown. Hope everyone's having a wonderful week. It's been a good one for me. Queensland won the State of Origin, which nobody on this stream really cares about. But I do. Such a glorious time. I've managed to put together somewhere in the vicinity of 11 videos of this game. I'll do a couple more today. That's good for me from the perspective that I'm frothing it at the moment, frothing the game. The colour for cycle 1, which is where this champion's from, is actually brown. Hello, Dr. Tractor. Welcome. My focus with these figures, in case you hadn't noticed in the last couple of streams, has just been around making them look good from a distance in a rapid amount of time. And that's a wonderful goal, I think, for any board game figures in general. Now, if your figures look amazing up close, well done. You're a greater human than I. You've either got far more time on your hands than I do. Hello, Top. Or far more money than I do to pay someone else to do them. But mostly, I want to play with my little toy soldiers. You know what I mean? So yes, Queensland won State of Origin. Made plenty of videos for this game. Ah, and of course the finale of Ted Lasso. I love the show. Absolutely love the show. Third season is by far the weakest. There's a number of storylines that were absolutely tremendous. Primarily anything to do with Jamie. Jamie Tart, do 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 do. Jamie Tart, do 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 do. Jamie Tart. Yeah, I'll tell you something I read, which I absolutely believe to be true, and whether or not that is the case, I haven't confirmed anywhere. I just read it on the internet. But Bill Lawrence wasn't really involved in season 3. He was busy working on Shrinking, which is the other Apple TV show. And I feel like you can really tell how much they missed having someone who just understands TV. Yeah, that to me is the downfall of the show in season 3, is the fact that it didn't feel like it was cohesive in the same way that the other seasons felt like they were cohesive. And there's a couple of observations. We had storylines in the middle of the season, and I'll use, unfortunately, Keely's entire story arc. KJPR, we had Shandy, who came in for the season at the start and then was never spoken of for about the entire rest of the season. Gets one brief mention in the finale. You then have Keely's relationship with a woman, which is basically amounted to literally nothing. There was nothing at all that she added value other than a holding pattern until they got to the actual thing that everyone was interested in, which was right towards the end. Zava, another one. So what it feels like is the writers had these ideas that they thought were really cool ideas, and they were. There's some good ideas in there, but they didn't know how to bring it together into a full and cohesive season of television. Hey Paul, if you know what I mean. And again, I think that comes down to there's no Bill Lawrence in the writers' room saying, "Hey, friends, let's pull it all together." That was how I felt about it. And I say that with all the love and respect in my heart, because I absolutely love the show. And I still enjoyed the third season. Like, I still found lots of laughs and lots of great moments. I think the Ted storyline was well handled. It's a shame he kind of felt like a throwaway character in his own show to some extent in the last season. He didn't really have a lot of moments, but some of the best moments were, of course, with him. Yeah. But the Amsterdam episode was my favourite episode of the entire show. Every single interaction with Roy and Jamie just gave me absolute joy. Look, I think it's a nice finish. I hope Ted's relationship with his wife is over and done with. I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah. Roy and Jamie were the most consistent arcs in the season. Where is there a 3D printer error? On this model? No. This is the Hecaton. The many-handed monstrosity. Yeah, agree, mate. But still, seasons 1 and 2 are easily the best show that's been released in the last few years. And it won't be the first show to have a lackluster final season. And no doubt it won't be the last either. Ted Lasso. Yeah, it might be all that you get. Yeah, I guess this might well be it. And heaven knows I've tried. Heaven knows I've tried. I haven't watched Succession. Heard good things. But when everybody's telling me I have no choice, I prove them wrong again. Good. Wonder what will go down as the best finale of all time at the moment in television. Buffy is probably my favourite. Either that or Scrubs. The Scrubs finale. The finale on season 8, I should say. Season 9 doesn't really count. Probably my favourite. I've heard. I've never watched Breaking Bad. I've heard Breaking Bad finale's quite good. Oh, Good Place. Good Place is also a wonderful finale. But that's just a wonderful show. I feel like you can't evaluate the finale on The Good Place without the entirety of the last 2 seasons, 4 seasons, I guess. It doesn't feel like an independent episode of television the last season of The Good Place. It feels like one connected story. Schitt's Creek was good, but, it'd be hard to pick a comedy on that list, I think. It doesn't have the emotional beats as much. I'm going to stick with Buffy, I think. Buffy and Angel. Gilliman flesh. About Gilliman and his flesh. I've been really enjoying playing this game again. So, my original delivery of this game arrived in December, right around December, like Christmas time, and I remember when it arrived, I was thinking to myself, I was on the fence on the Kickstarter. I'd actually tipped in for $1, and I wasn't sure, and I overanalyzed, and I decided, you know what, I don't think it's for me. And then one night I was reading some Kingdom Death articles, and a dude whose Kingdom Death writing I follow, his name's Fenn, wrote about the game, and he was like, yeah, I've done some practice on TTS, and I think the game's really good. And so I went and had a think about it, and in the middle of the night, at about 1 o'clock in the morning, after I'd had a few beverages, I decided, yep, this is the game for me. And so I ordered the whole thing about 2 or 3 months before the pledge manager ended. I got on there and I was like, yep, I'm going to buy it. So, and I did so. Unfortunately, and I think I told this story a couple of weeks ago, I ordered it on my company credit card by accident. and had to, the following Monday, call up my boss and say, hello there, champion. I have done fucked up and ordered a $700 board game on my company card. Sorry about that. Chels. Fortunately, it's not the first time something like that's happened, and I was just able to deduct it from my pay. I just had to fill out a form. All was well. So the game rocked up, and I was sort of still in that mindset of wasn't really sure if I wanted it. Maybe that was a drunken mistake. Isn't that interesting? Some people make a drunken mistake and have sex with someone else. Big Dano's drunken mistake is ordering a board game. Bit of a cause for concern, really. So I rocked up. And I thought to myself, I'm going to paint all these models. I'm going to paint them all before I play the game. Because I'm not that excited about playing the game. And I whipped out this guy. And I was going to paint him. And I undercoated him. And then I thought, yeah, I might just try playing the game. And then, for the next month and a half, from the end of December through to the middle of Feb, I basically played this game non-stop, solo. I'll answer your question in a second, Dr. Tractor. And so I got to Feb and I played the game, as I said, non-stop. I finished there's 3 cycles in the campaign, 3 stories basically. And in my experience playing the game, I had finished the first cycle twice, and I did that first. So the first one I made heaps of rules mistakes. And so I was like, I'm going to replay that. So I replayed the second one. I replayed the first one, then I came into the second one, and I enjoyed the second one so much that I played it a second time. So that is just awesome. I'm going to play that again. And then I got onto the third one, and I played the third one, and then I played a little bit of the third one again. I didn't get to finish the third one a second time because I reached that point where I was like, okay, I've played a lot of this game now. I'm going to move on to some other things. And so I did. Now, we come to the now, and the new Kickstarter's on, and there's a little bit of negative content out there in the world based on some things that are out of the company's control, sort of. And I thought to myself, yeah, it'd be nice. Okay, negative char. Hey, Sammy. It'd be nice to do some positive content for them and maybe record a little bit of the game. And everyone's recorded content for Cycle 1. Literally, there is no recorded content for Cycle 2 anywhere out there. And I feel that's a shame because Cycle 2, in my opinion, is where the game is at its peak. Absolutely at its peak. So I decided to record some content, and then I've now been playing this game non-stop for 2 weeks and just excited about painting the models. So there we are. Dr. Tractor, how would I go about painting a 24mm model? Yeah, I think base shade highlight is probably how I would approach it. I mean, that's basically how I've approached this, right? But in a slightly more advanced way in terms of the base coats. I use the airbrush to create depth. The shade, I'm specifically targeting certain areas again, creating that, and then I'll do some highlights, which will sort of finish us off. So I think that would be the way I would approach it, yeah. But it's a hard thing to answer without having actually done one. But yeah, I think it'd just be pretty much the same. The only thing that really changes for me in my approach is brush size. Like with this brush, this figure, you use a much larger brush, and I think that might be something that slows other people down. Is they use the smaller brush on these size figures, and that is absolutely going to take you time, more time than it should. So this chap, his name's the Hecaton. He's the first monster you fight in the game. It is the White Lion of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. Hey, Minimancer. For those that are familiar with Kingdom Death parlance. Okay, let's go. Alright, and now we'll switch to a good brush and we'll do some actual cleanup and highlights, and the skin should hopefully look pretty good. Hopefully. And then I'm just going to figure out what to do with these fists. Is he? Well, that will be exciting. That'll be nicely timed. Yeah. Pretty keen on that. That'll definitely be a game where I absolutely have to force myself to try and paint the models before I play it. Maybe actually. I've played a lot of Kingdom Death. I've done 8 campaigns. 8 campaigns. I fired up at a dude on the internet the other day. And as you know, I don't often fire up at dudes on the internet. But I fired up at a dude. Basically what I said was, he said, in relation to this game, you'll never have enough time to play all this content. No one's got that much time in their life. And it just irritated me the way that that particular person said it. And I said, I don't think you're in a position to judge how much time other people have to perform their leisure hobbies or do anything else. And then I explained that I had played Trespass Odyssey twice, 8 games of Kingdom Death, and I did that in the space of a couple of months. So let's relax, champion. It is a huge discount indeed. Well worth it if you like campaign games. Yeah, exactly, mate. It's like let's not judge how much time other people have to do things based on your time that you have to do things. That's not a fair thing to do. I'm in for the full 12 Sins of Heracles pledge personally, the all-in-one. So it's about 900 Australian dollars. So I'm in for $900 more on this game. Should give you an indication of how much I enjoyed it, how much I'm continuing to enjoy it. I had a couple of reservations, right, and after I played through the game in January, February, March, the thing that I was concerned about was, am I going to ever play this again? Am I ever going to play this game again? Am I ever gonna play your game again? Because I'd already played it once, and then I played it a second time, and I was concerned that I was not going to have the same level of enjoyment, because it is a narratively heavy game. Narratively heavy. And so once you've read a storyline once, well, how much can it change? The answer is it can't change, but you can make different choices, and in many ways the narrative part of the game it exists only to create challenges for you in the combat phase. So I do too. All right. This is the Hecaton's eyes. This little area up here. I think I've given this advice on many occasions, friends, and it is put your time where it matters in painting figures. I'm not going to do every single fingernail on this figure in the same way that I'm doing in this area. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. But it makes sense to do the fingernails on the face where all the detail is. Yeah. Thank goodness it's gone. Oh, silence. Blissful and blessed silence. G'day, Nurgle Matthew. Alright, what are we going to do with these shield blade arms? Very good. Very good, Minimancer. We'll allow it. Give him a hand, everyone. Now, I've had so many requests from people, so many requests, to talk about the colours I've used. And I always forget because I just get into my painting state and I just paint, right? But what I'm going to do on this one is show the colours that I've used in this model in entirety. Every single colour that I've used. About to come in. About to come into your eyeballs. In a moment. Also top. See you soon. Very good. Alright, here we go. Here is the entirety of colours I've used. Number 1, this colour. Royal Brown from Chimera. That was my base coat. Number 2, Caucasian Skin from Chimera. That was my main highlight colour. Number 3, I used Basic Skin Tone. Those are the 3 colours that I've used in the skin. Next, I used Gilliman Flesh as a contrast paint, and I also did some washes of Royal Brown. I also did this Elf Skin Tone Game Air to homogenize and harmonize everything. And that's it. That's the entirety of everything I've used. The base is this green and a different brown, but there you go. That's it. I don't think so, mate. I think I'm going to keep him the brownish tones because the colour on this cycle, on this story cycle, is actually brown. So I'm going to keep him brown tones. Now, I will tell you that I may add some redness. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to grab out something I haven't done a lot. Grabbing out my white primer. I'm sure you're wondering, why are you using white primer, Deno? Well, it's very dilute, is the answer. And what I'm about to do, I think, requires a dilute paint. And now we just got to decide if I want to do it on these bits. It's a lot of effort to do this. Is it worth the effort? G'day RS Blunden. I'm doing tremendous, thank you. That'll do. We'll just give a little bit of highlighting to these shield blade arms. And we're just about done, I think. Just add the red. Secret colour time, friends. Secret Big Deno powerful colour. One of my hallmarks on a lot of my works is this bad boy. Fluorescent red. Oh no, I've just put an absolute metric shit ton on my palette and it's almost empty. That's a real waste, you know? That's a real waste, mate. I'm disappointed in myself. I have to go and think about what I've done. Yeah, one of your best, you dickhead. What are you doing? You absolute spud. So the story of this first cycle is called The Truth of the Labyrinth. And one thing that's really fantastic about Aeon Trespass is how it takes Greek myths and legends and twists them in a fun and unique way. And the cycle of the labyrinth is a story from Crete, the Minotaur of Crete, Enthusiast went into there and fought the Minotaur. Well, in this version, g'day Axon Blitz, it is an interesting model. In this version of the game, the labyrinth itself is a living entity and it corrupts things around it, including this guy. So this is the labyrinth made flesh. That's done. We'll move on to the next model, which is this champion. Actually, it doesn't look quite poppy enough from far away, so do a little bit of this one. Okay, Kalen. How are you, champion? A little bit of this one. Alright, I think that's better. So if you're interested in seeing how this game works, friends, I have playthroughs on my YouTube channel. The only caveat is if you have intention to play this game at some point, my playthroughs are from Cycle 2, which includes spoilers for Cycle 2. However, Cycle 2 and Cycle 1 are relatively independent stories. They're not really related. There's a few moments that incorporate stuff from Cycle 1, but overall they're independent stories, and so you're not really spoiling anything for yourself other than Cycle 2, which, depending on your perspective, may or may not be a problem. Better. Let's whip out the airbrush for this next one, friends. Boom, this is a Labyrinthaurus. He is a mechanical contraption. Very Minotaur-like, wouldn't you say? That has been infected with the labyrinth itself. This is all metal. We're going to do all metal. Am I going to airbrush that? I don't think so, actually. I might just do a little dry brush-a-rooney. With some of my favourite colours from the Scale metal range. Perfection. Without you near me, I got no place to go. And no, am I ever gonna see your face again? Am I ever gonna? Yeah, Scale 75 metallics are easily my favourite metallics that I've ever painted with, as Hugo tells us what he thinks about Scale 75 metallics. Do you like them, buddy? You don't like them? Wow. You're a harsh critic. No, they're really fantastic. Here's my only criticism of them, and it is a minor one. they have a very, very matte finish result from for a metallic paint. Like, they dry very, very, very non-metallic. However, the colors that you get are really fantastic. So oops. Check these two guys out. This guy's one of the Titans. He's called an Abyss Watcher. Oh, he's sick. Check this guy out. This guy's called a Truth Bearer. Why is he holding a big rock? I'm not going to tell you. But it's a fucking sick story. Here's another cool one. Look at this guy. This is a god form. This is Zeus. Zeus, I summoned lightning. Yeah, the Truth Bearer is fucking mad. Here's some more Titans you can make. This one's called a Game Changer. Can't really see it, but maybe I'll turn this up so you can. Game Changer. He's fucking striding on top of a ship. That's a giant boat. And he's breaking it in half. His Mad Dog Spear. And look at this guy. This guy's called an Ascender. This one's quite big. This is the Alpha Temenos, and it is the labyrinth made flesh. And then this one's very cool, but they made a design decision which I really, really liked, but also at the same time dislike. This one's called the Sun Descendant. And these little things here, you can actually climb up on it and fight it. These little bits that I've actually glued these on, but they're removable. So there's actually a model without these that just looks pretty normal and pretty sick. These are big blobby things. I don't know that I really like how they look, but I decided to glue them in anyway because when you fight this guy, it's an integral part of the battle that you actually climb up on top of the things. So you're like, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. Zeus, awaken. Hard to understand why I'm single, really, isn't it? Let's continue. Let's continue with this. That's the sun god Helios. They give you the model in the game. He's a first player token. It's good. This is absolutely the game RS Blunden. Yes, absolutely that is what this game is. And one of the reasons why I decided to paint some models for it is because it annoyed me that the only thing everyone was talking about with this game was that stupid situation. Myself included. And so I decided I would like to provide some positive content for a game that I believe is one of the best games that's been released in the last few years. Will be my absolute game of the year for this year. In case you didn't know, friends, I do a games of the year list on my Twitter every year. It's wonderful. I'm the only one who thinks it's wonderful. People only follow me for painting content. And I just keep throwing board games in their face. Suck shit. But yeah, last year this game arrived just before I did my top 10 list, and I hadn't actually started playing it. And then I started playing it. And it is my top 10 game. It's my number one game for this year, easily. And I played it from December through to middle of Feb. And I made that call immediately. I was like, that's it. This game wins. Which is wild. Absolutely wild to think about. But the game's just really strong. It's basically an iteration of Kingdom Death, taking a lot of the things that people loved about Kingdom Death and improving on them. Certainly improved on it from my perspective. But I'll make two observations about the game. The story mode has a beautifully written, in-depth story that is actually probably my favourite stories I've read so far in any board game. I do love the new Lucas sculpt, yes. It's a really strong sculpt from the great man. But what that does do by having such an in-depth, detailed, beautifully written story is it actually diminishes replayability. When you talk about Kingdom Death, you're not talking about the stories of the monsters really, because they're just 20 or 30 sentences about these creatures and where they come from, and that's it. But all of a sudden, this is just pages and pages of story about what's happening in the world, and it's exciting, but you can only read that a couple of times. So the replayability of this game is diminished versus, say, Kingdom Death. If the story is the only thing that you are engaged with. Personally, the story is a key and important part, but it was not the primary reason I bought this game. So the replayability, although the story mode is going to feel a little bit of repetition after a while, the other modes are where it gets really interesting. With Kingdom Death, when I played Kingdom Death, the first few fights of each monster, that initial discovery period is just so exciting. And I actually played on stream a full campaign where I played against some models for the first time, the Sunstalker and the Dragon King. I'd never played against them. And I played them for the first time. And the discovery, the sense of discovery was just awesome. There isn't as many monsters in this game as there is Kingdom Death. Well, actually, technically, there's more monsters. Kingdom Death has 12, 13, 14, 15, about 17 monsters. This game has 4 per cycle, I think. 3 cycles, 12. When this game's full release comes out, there will be more. So the actual combats themselves are outstanding. The question I ask myself about Lucas Penis sculpt is, am I going to buy it to paint it? And I haven't bought the last couple, and I haven't regretted it. But we'll see if I regret this one. I haven't decided if I want to buy this one yet. I probably should. Maybe getting a painter is going to fire me up for some display painting. Without you near me, I got no place to go. Alright, stand by. Now you may be wondering why I'm doing these tentacles brown when I did the other tentacles on the guy I painted the other day in purple. The answer is simple. Because the story colours for this story is brown. And I just want to tie it in thematically. With the story arc colours. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love. Sometimes it hurts instead. Hey, nothing compares, no worries or cares. Regrets and mistakes, their memories blend. Who would have known how bittersweet this could taste? Never someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Okay. The truth bearer, the truth shall set you free. I do regret not getting the fawns. I do regret yeah, the fawns I regret. The troll holding the rabbit I regret not getting. I sort of regret not getting Pied Piper. I feel like Pied Piper was pretty cool, and I haven't really seen too many people do a lot with it. Those would probably be it. But I mean, I've been collecting peanuts since Elf Rider, and Elf Rider was just awesome, really incredible. Elf Rider. And that was back when he was limited numbers. He'd just say a number, this is how many I'm making, and you had to get in early. So I was setting alarms for 3 o'clock in the morning to get up so I could get them. And I was lucky I did, sort of towards the end of that period. They were selling out in the first hour. So there was a couple of others I regretted. I regretted not getting the pirates, and I regretted not getting the Seven Dwarves. But in both cases, I was able to obtain a copy from someone else, which was very, very good. I'm using different colours of contrast paints on all of these different sections. That is excessive, Dano. Why do you do this? Why? Why do you do this? Why do I do this, Hugo? Tell me. I don't know, Uncle Dad. You're an idiot. I haven't painted the Seven Dwarves. No, I've got the Seven Dwarves sitting over there, waiting for the right moment, waiting for their moment to shine. But I do feel like that'll be sooner rather than later. They're a really wonderful, wonderful kit. And it's the hardest part about that thing, and I don't actually think too many people have done it right, is balancing the focus of 7 faces. That's a challenge, and it's a challenge that I think very few people have really solved for correctly. As someone who quite regularly paints large collections of figures, balancing how everything interacts is a key part of that. G'day, Sabrina. Welcome, champion. Welcome, friends. If I had a mod on, I'm sure they'd give Sabrina a shout out, but everyone should go follow Sabrina. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you. Let me show you something I do. This is just board games models. Here's the sort of stuff I normally paint. I keep one just here ready for it. So this is one that I've painted not long ago. I didn't do this on stream, unfortunately, but yeah, that's what I normally paint, friends. But today we're just kicking along with some board games models. Oh, I do have a video to show off. Yes, look at this. Is this it? Yes. Most definitely not RS London. Most definitely not. No, that Camelot piece and the Athena, those are all display models that I've poured time and love and attention into. These ones, I'm aiming to get them done in about half an hour a model, so they shan't be done to the same level, no. Let's go check out what Sabrina was doing. This paint right now that I'm using is Cygor Brown. Let's go check out Sabrina. What was she doing? I'm really good at this streaming gig, friends. Absolutely killing it. Now, here we go. Boom. Let's go. We got any cool stuff? Let's have a look. Playing some games. What game is this?
I'm also the one that people go to cry to about. I am the shoulder.
Fuck.
Thank you. Freaking moment.
How good. Have no idea. No idea how we find each other on these Twitch streams, but we always find different and interesting people to meet and talk about. Thanks for raiding on Miniature Toy Soldier Painting, Sabrina. You're a champion. I don't know that you're going to get too many people from my stream that are going to be following you, but I hope we get some. I hope we get a couple. Thank you for the raid. You're a superstar. We are almost finished this guy, so we might even have time to start a little bit of one of the Titans. What's the time? Only for... I'm only been going for an hour and I've finished 2 models. What an excellent time. Yeah, Poots has done some really wild stuff. And there's very few people that can say they've created something unique and inspired a lot of people. Inspired future board games. But Poots has definitely created a whole genre in and of himself with Kingdom Death Monster. There is nothing quite like Kingdom Death Monster out there in the world. It will always be the first. It may not always be the best, but it will definitely be the first. Look at us go. Look at us go. Abyss Watcher, I guess. Abyss Watcher. Let's have a look at the actual Kickstarter page for this guy. Abyss Watcher. Aeon Trespass. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. What a guy. What a guy. So he's just all black with red plumes. Alright, we can do that. Probably. And a silver chest plate. I think we'll give him a silver helmet as well. How do we do black best, Deno? Let's highlight with white and blue, and then we'll contrast paint that bad boy. I'm on tonight, you know my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel you, boy. The attraction, the tension, won't you see, baby, this is perfection. You know I'm on tonight. contrast paint, lots and lots of layers. That. Black remains the hardest colour to paint without any shadow of a doubt. No pun intended. Because you just can't highlight it, otherwise it looks grey. One of the ways I used to paint black, on display models no less, was I would actually just paint them black. And then because I use a slightly satin finish, the light itself would actually look like highlights. Which is awesome. Oh, I forgot to talk about the colours I used on Labyrinthoros. I will do that in a second. This colour is Pterodon Turquoise Botroides. Citadel colour. You're welcome. Cool. Well, let me talk about the colours I use on the Labyrinthoros. First of all, for the gold, I used scale colours. I used Viking Gold and Oro Elfico, or Elf Gold, Elven Gold, Oro Vikingo. And then I used Cygor Brown contrast paint over the top. For the brown areas, I once again used Royal Brown from Chimera, and I highlighted it with Deep Brown from AK, followed up by Orange Brown from AK. And for the white areas, I used Middlestone, and then I actually used Basic Skin Tone for a highlight on that, and then I used Ivory. And then the contrast paints that I used were Cygor Brown and Gorgrunta Fur, and this bit was Agaros Dunes. It's the best I can do, friends. I'm not going to be posting the colours on my YouTube channels or my Twitch streams. Just not happening. Just acknowledge it. It's not going to happen. Deal with it. Deal with it. Now we're going to use Black Templar over the top of that green. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. But yeah, if I show them as I use them, I forget to do that because I just get in the zone, mate. This is my problem. When I'm painting, I just hit a flow state and I'm just doing stuff and I'm not really thinking about it. I mean, the fact that I can paint models whilst I'm talking, or literally listening to Bucks talk, like, I don't have any part of my brain really devoted to the actual painting of what I'm doing. It's not happening. So every time you like, people are like, oh, you just show them what you're painting. I literally am not thinking. I'm just going doopy doopy doo. And every now and then something will pop into my brain like, yeah, yeah, I'll just remember to show that paint. That'll be easy. And then I just completely space on it. Yeah, if you are new, you definitely will not be experiencing said flow state. And probably it'd be fair to say that not many people really experience that flow state. And it's also possible to say that that's not necessarily a good thing. You know, because I don't think, it means I'm not going to be able to challenge what I'm doing in my brain and be like, could I do this better? Why haven't I done this better? I talk about that a little bit in an article that I wrote. Wonderful article called The Psychology of Miniature Painting. It's a thing called the 4 stages of competence: conscious competence, unconscious incompetence, etc. So yes, if you want to know what those things look like, actually I'm going to do something different then. I do wet blend the contrast paints, yeah. These figures that I'm doing are probably not an example of me maximising my usage of contrast paints really, but I've done a lot of contrast paint work. Oh no, that's all right. I've done a lot of contrast paints. I use contrast paints on literally everything, including my display figures, and I go to town on those bad boys. So you'll see me use contrast paints more effectively than I am here. Here I'm just sort of using them the way that Games Workshop intended, although a little more advanced, I guess, because I'm doing a lot of layering underneath and then using them over the top, more like a wash than colour. It is, yes, it is more difficult, but you can control how much they pull. You can control the colours by mixing in a medium. You can do lots of cool things. Abyss Watcher. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this guy is not my favourite Titan. I don't like what he does. But I committed to trying him on this next playthrough. So I'll let you know how I go. Yes, I would die for you, baby. Oh, mate. That's just an Australian tradition. Nicknames for co-workers. A couple of my favourites. Wicket keeper, which is a very Australian one because it's a cricket joke. Stands back. Always puts on the gloves. Porch light. Only comes on when someone only starts working when someone walks past. Very Australian. I'm sure there's some good ones though. Orange. Orange and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Well, tomorrow, Party Monday. Bucks and I will be, no doubt, diving deep into some miniature painting topic that we think will be interesting and we think is wonderful and worth talking about. And we will wank each other off about how great we are. Bucks and I talking on Monday nights reminds me of that song on Instagram, which is Another White Guy with a Podcast. I'm sure you've heard that one before. Another white guy with a podcast. Because we think we're really interesting and funny. But the reality is, we're not. Well, he's not. I am. I'm very funny. Bang, how good am I going today? I have done 3 models in about an hour and 30 minutes. That's outstanding stuff, Tenno. Inspirational stuff, mate. You should host a podcast. Alright, that contrast paint just needs to dry. The other paints need to dry. Do you mean the colour? As in I've painted it backwards? Or do you mean the flames or the sword is backwards? Yeah, he's swinging it. Yeah, I was going to say, if you think that colour's wrong, you're a dickhead. Here you go. Tell him, buddy. Yeah. I've said this statement before. The problem with the internet is it makes many people think that their opinions matter. Myself included. And the world would be a much better place if you had to earn that. If you had to earn the fact that your opinion mattered. That may be a controversial statement, but I'm prepared to live with it. And speaking of things I'm prepared to live with, the amount of time that I've spent painting this model. It's time to move along. And it is time for me to go and enjoy a little walk with my friend. And playing some of this game. Get excited. Me. I am. Good. Good work, mate. Friends, let's go raid someone. Let's raid some great people. Who's out there? Should we give Wapelius some love? The great man. I think we should. Good to see him streaming. Thank you, Metroides.
It's from Atomic Mass Games, same folks that did Marvel Crisis Protocol. Tonight we're doing this guy here, and last night we did this one here. And hoping to maybe later